Well, hey, Gundam Maniacs. Welcome to another live Gundam Explained with Steven from Midnight Hatter. What's up, Steven?
Not a whole lot, man. Having a great time. I'm on cloud nine since yesterday's Gundam Assemble announcements.
Oh, yeah, that's
There's things to
right.
love, things to hate, but at least we've got Gundam miniatures coming out.
Yes. That's a good point because, yeah, even though I tend to cover all things Gundam, I'm not super into the assemble as much. It's more for me because it's a whole other world, tabletop and all that. There's like in miniatures. Um, I rely on Steven for that. So check out his show from yesterday, which was fun. That was an action-packed information dump of a lot of things. Even some interesting critiques just in terms of how Bandai is deciding to sell Assemble. You broke it down beautifully. So yeah, you guys check that out if you haven't. But
Thank you.
anyway, I know we chatted a little bit before we got in, but has your week been good so far?
Yeah,
Anything
yeah,
crazy?
been pretty good. It's been really nice outside up here on the East Coast. I don't know how it's been in Texas, but like today it got up to 79 degrees, and so that
Oh,
means that all the people that annoy me were out and about.
that's
I,
okay.
I
That's funny.
a long time ago, a buddy of mine told me like, I think that you just hate seeing other people have fun because I always complain about spring and like people being like out and about doing things, and I'm like, well, maybe.
It's funny how much you talk to yourself as if you're a curmudgeon. Like, but I never see it. It's like this like character of Steven that you have in your head.
Yeah, man, I'm just like, wait, when I'm driving and I see people like riding their bikes, I'm like, "Grr."
Yeah, get out of the road.
Now my wife brought up the fact, she was like, I think you're just mad because you don't know how to ride a bike. And I said, that is irrelevant, first of all.
That's
But yeah, what about you? How is the weather down south these days?
okay. So it's been crazy, and I forgot if I already told you this. I think I did, or other people, but I ended up getting a new AC in our house, a new air conditioning unit. And you've heard the horror stories, I'm sure, of how much those things cost. And yes, it was because, I've complained probably on the show too, sometimes like in the summer, it's like, oh, it's going to be hot in here for a little bit. At the end of the day, our AC was just old and poor. And it just got to the point where it really couldn't work anymore. And so the weather was so nice, but it made it hot inside, but perfect outside. And
Oh.
that's when we were really realizing there's something wrong with our AC. And we got it was on a Saturday or Sunday. Monday, we had two different companies come by. We got two different quotes. And it was cool. We were smart about it. We're like, okay, they're offering this because obviously we have to do financing. With how much this stuff costs. And it's like, well, what are the different rates, the different deals between the company? How much are they charging? What are we getting? And I think it worked out what we got because it's almost now too cold in here. And we were even thinking like, okay, in a couple days, we got to get back with them and say, hey, can you help?
The
And
grass
what's
is
really,
always colder on the other side, as they say.
that's pretty good. But what's interesting is like, it's because we have a two-story house, but it only had a single thermostat downstairs. And
Yeah.
the thing is, it's not like our house is that big. So I think when they were building the houses, when they did, and it was built like in the 90s, early
Yeah.
90s, they just didn't think, I guess, to make the AC big enough for the summers. I don't know. Is that global warming? I don't know. Anyway, so then yeah, uh, it's yeah, I guess
Well, it's
we're
funny
hoping.
because you and I have kind of the reverse setup. So it's like you have a two-story house with the
Yeah.
AC is on the bottom level. I
Yeah.
have a two-story house where the AC is on the top level,
Oh, yeah.
which
That
is kind of nice in some ways, but
mhm.
like the basement down where here I am right now is freezing in the winter. Um,
Okay. But I remember you told me you install something in the basement?
we did. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm sure that I'm still I mean, I can tell you we are still paying off the mini split that we installed just to
Oh,
cover the basement.
okay. That's yeah, and so what was cool, yeah, about this is, yeah, the two-story yeah, what was I trying to get at? So, yeah, they gave us a new thermostat for the upstairs too, like a second zone, right? So that
Cool.
way,
Yes.
and it was these like
2-zone
new
heating, cooling.
touchscreen thermostats, which we had a Google Nest anyway, but it's like,
Oh, I was
well,
gonna say, dude, you don't want that smart thermostat because do you remember when the AWS stuff went down and like a lot of people were not able to use their smart thermostats?
that you know what? That's funny because I have a Nest, but we
Oh,
didn't run into an issue.
well, that's good. That's
And
good.
that's Google Nest, so maybe
It's
that's
probably
why.
just the Amazon powered ones then.
Yeah, because
'Cause
this one was a
it was
very
AWS. So, but
oh,
yeah, there were people that were complaining that like they had one of those I don't know what brand bed it is, but the bed that has the incline and it was locked in the incline position because you had to use your smartphone to like adjust the
wow, I didn't know about that. Yeah, to be honest, and that's what's cool about these thermostats. They installed, they're very generic, just simple touchscreen. Like you can connect it to an app, or you could just use it the way. So anyway,
Yeah.
I feel like that's been a crazy week. Like, I got this new job's a little busier, and then the heat, but we're getting the AC, installed, and it's going to be cooler now when I'm building as the summer's approaching and the sun comes through the window here.
Okay,
Um,
but that raises a very important topic,
what's that?
Gundam related. We're
Okay.
talking about ACs, we're talking about investing in this stuff. Do you think that they had AC on the colonies, or do you think that the temperature was just regulated for the entire colony?
Okay, that is a really good idea for a
That's a
video.
lore
Well,
question. I was gonna say that's like right up your alley.
only because wouldn't you assume it would really require some other sort of system? You couldn't just have an AC. You would have to have some sort of atmospheric, and maybe that's the weather control systems we have now. And in the future, it's going to be just
Yeah.
normal technology everyone's going to know about.
Right.
There we go.
Well, did you you don't watch that show Paradise on Hulu, do you?
No, but I think you told me about it, or someone did, right? They live.
There's a scene in one of the recent episodes where like the president is talking about, "Hey, you know what would make people happy is if we brought back summer. Like we're living underground, but the problem is we're all living at like 68 degrees." He's like, "Let's raise the temperature to like 72 and we'll bring out the sun." And he's like, "Let's artificially create summer underground for these people and it'll make everybody happy." And it's like, isn't that exactly what they do on the colonies?
Yeah, no, I remember. Yeah, someone told me about Paradise, and I remember I started it, and I was like, "Oh, this is going to be super dramatic," and I just kind of, but
Fair enough.
it has the cool world building.
Yeah,
At least that's a good example of a different world to experience through people's drama. You know,
exactly.
yeah, um, yeah. Speaking of that, anything I brought, I don't watch things anymore. I only watch, like, if it's a new Gundam anime, I'm gonna watch it, or maybe a movie of Predator or something, or like one of the franchises I like. But I was thinking about that the other day. I don't watch much. Yeah. So what has happened this week? Well, I want to show you guys something cool, and I haven't even shown you this, Steven. So
Oh,
my sister uh, made this little Haro, right? Okay. And let me actually get because she's selling these. So if you want
what?
one, you can email Gundam Explained at gmail.com. Okay. 25 $25. Okay.
That's
Then
amazing.
there's this bigger one. $40. Was it 40? Let me double check real quick. Yeah, 40. Right. I mean,
That's awesome.
and then for 100,
You
it's a
can have
big
a
one. And I know
full
it
on.
seems, the price just really has to do with the fact that these are just handmade,
Yeah.
on demand, handmade. So if you're interested in any of these, I'll do a little video later about it. But yeah, just email gunmexplain@gmail.com until I do something official. I'd like to put this in one of the shops, and link it. That's my plan. It's gonna be like merch,
Yeah.
I guess. But
Those are
yeah.
incredible. Did she was she able to find like a pattern to do that, or did she have to kind of Like,
No, well, I showed her a picture of one that someone made
yeah,
on Reddit, I think, and I said, "Hey, does this look like something you could do?" And it is, of course. Like I've not shown the stuff, but I've got so many pictures that she's made of the of other random things. So this is probably nothing for her to do this. They're really cool. I like them, and just how like kind of different shades of green too. So you could probably, yeah, that would be a thing. You can ask for the color if you want a different color. I'll have to make it official, but
100%. Yeah. I mean, and I love the crochet, like the knitted look.
yeah, I know that would be a cool video game. Like they do the Yoshi yarn, and it has like a claymation sort of move, like side scroller. That's a pretty good idea, actually. Um,
Yeah.
no, yeah, yeah, stuff that, yeah, that's very cool. So, I mean, what else could be knitted from Gundam that would make sense?
Well, that would be a good question. Let me see if I can grab something here. I think I had something nearby. Let me stand by. Let's see.
Could be something SD, like an SD.
Do you think she could manage a
Oh,
conch?
can you move it over just a little? I have it. Oh,
A
oh
conch?
yeah, that is a
G-Quux?
great idea. Okay.
Because, obviously, like, you want to keep it simple shapes. You don't want to have like too many limbs or anything that's going to create issues. And so it's
Yeah.
like something like this. It's basically a box with four little legs hanging off of it. Um, I still need to get the squishy versions of these up on
Oh
my
yeah, that's right.
store. But yeah.
Dude, then you should also do a squishy Haro.
Yeah, that's the plan. I've got one, both regular Haro and the Haro with the beanie. So
Oh, that's right. Okay, yeah, the one with the bean. I remember that.
I
Yeah,
just
dude.
I never finished them because the silicone that I use, like it's a
Oh,
little sticky. Like, I don't know if you guys are familiar with like Taba squishies. They tend to be like very tacky, which is cute when it's like a little
oh.
kitty paw, but like I don't know that. I mean, let me know. Would you guys want something that's like sticky that you can like stick stuff to, or would you prefer something that's a little bit more like a urethane, like squishy toy type thing?
I would just say the sticky thing, because there's in the past where we've got them from blind boxes and all that. Like they get dirty over time and kind of fall apart for how you're using them. Because they do look cool at first.
They do, yeah. Because I love the Taba squishies, but like man, like you said, they get filthy, and then you're like, well, I don't
Yeah,
want this anymore.
yeah, I know. Well, okay. So another thing this week that I've been up to is playing that Demon X Machina Titanic Scion, which is a mouthful, and it's like I got to tell you guys the story. I'm just sitting on the couch and playing a game. Wife's on the phone, and we're in the living room, and she's like, "Oh, what's the name of this game?" And I'm thinking, why does she care what the name of the game is? What am I gonna say the name? Oh, was this the sequel to like, so I say Demon X Machina Titanic Scion, and then her first, and I think she was planning. She's like, "What is it with your games that have the craziest names?" And I was thinking the last one, oh yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles X Definitive Edition. And then I'm thinking, oh yeah, Nino Cooney and the blah 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 blah. I don't even remember. And I'm going back to thinking like, wow, some of these like it's almost like when someone asks me when I say I do YouTube and they're like, oh, what is it about? And if I say Gundam, they're gonna be like, well, what's that? Well, and then it's like, where do you start? The Gunpla, the show. I mean, I always just do it's a more mature version of Star Wars
Yeah,
in Japan.
that's
It's Japan.
shorthand.
Yeah, that's kind of what I do. But I I think that's funny. Sometimes when it comes to marketing, and it's like when you name I do like that things have unique names to them. And sometimes it's only like an inner circle that understands the names of things. Um,
Right.
but I wonder
Sometimes
if
it does sound like one of those isekai anime titles that's like, "That time I turned
yeah.
into a crab during middle
Yeah.
school." Like,
Yeah, it's like, what are you saying? But no, I wonder how much, and we don't realize that Gundam itself has been held back maybe in Western territories, just because the name is just a little gun. Damn. Whoa, we're Christian here over here. No, I'm just joking, but
No, I'm
I
glad you brought that up because honestly, I was just having my taxes prepared and I met with
oh,
the accountant and he was like, "So I see you've got this income here that comes in from this stuff, and this stuff." And I was like, "Yeah, I have a YouTube channel, blah blah blah." And he goes, "Oh, what's it about? My son has a YouTube channel that's, their family does, all these athletic things and, they do skateboarding and they do gymnastics." And I was like, "Mine's a little different, but
I mean, I describe yours as like a hobbyist channel that is more centered around the Gundam IP, but
exactly,
it's
yeah.
like Gunpla Plus. You know what I mean? Like it's Gunpla, but like it could be LEDs or techniques,
I might just change the name of my channel to that, Gunpla Plus, like,
There you go. Yeah, no, you should. That's
that's good branding.
yeah. Yeah, it is. But so yeah, I think uh, so yeah, having the Gundam explained, it's almost like I'm then signaling people that are like Gundam or people that know Gundam and they just want to know more stuff. So I think having that explained helps. Whereas Star Wars explained, you know,
That's yeah.
it's like it's I don't know what I'm trying to get at
Well,
because
Western audiences probably don't recognize Gundam, and so it sounds like, that comedian that you and I like, Connor O'Malley,
oh
when
yeah.
he was on Seth Meyers, and he was like, "Oh, what are you watching lately?" And he goes, "Oh, I watch a lot of YouTube shorts about guns." Like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that's Gundam explained."
No, but it is interesting, Gundam, like, and so who knows how much the IP has been held back? Because 'cause isn't it kind of interesting, like, again, I didn't get into Gundam anything to do with its name, even though it's like in the background of my mind, I knew it was there, but I didn't care, or maybe it was because of the name, I couldn't associate. Because when I would play that Dreamcast game, I would just always call it R Rise from the Ashes or I
Side
would call it
stories.
yeah, or no, not the yeah, 0079 Side Stories. I think I would call it that because Mobile Suit Gundam, like, I wasn't gonna say that.
Right.
Yeah, that is
Even
interesting.
in the title, they kinda minimized it, like, the
Yep,
logo is like, "Side stories, rise
ex
from the ashes, Mobile Suit Gundam 007."
exactly, and I think that's why that happened. Yeah, that's interesting. So, back to other video game names. Yeah, Daemon X Machina or Demon or Damon because DAE.
Right.
I I think you can do it both ways, but Demon X Machina Titanic Scion is one heck of a name for a video game.
It
Like,
is.
I yeah, yeah, any other and so anyway, back to when I was talking about this
What
game.
are we talking about?
Actually, back to something else. Oh my gosh, I keep doing this because 'cause we're talking about names of things, right? Even though I'm really trying to talk about a game. Speaking of names, Sega Genesis Evangelion. So, Neon Genesis Evangelion is also one heck of a name of something. And then the Sega Genesis is just kind of badass, but, like, I saw this shirt on an Instagram reel or post or whatever, and I was like, "This is just I have to." Like, this is signaling also, like, if if someone sees this together and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome," they're probably cool. You know what I mean?
It's true.
I mean, it's like if I walked around wearing yeah, I gotta do this. I gotta walk around wearing a shirt with Blade and Ash together. How excited could that get another human? And then I'd be like, "We're probably gonna be best friends."
Well, I mean, shoot, even when I was picking up my daughters from daycare today, I was in the middle of, like, putting my daughter in the car, and it was blocking this guy from taking his daughter out because like, they were in the car or whatever, and, I was wearing my hat, and he goes,
Oh.
"Sick hat, by the way." And I was like, "Hey, thank you. Nice bumper sticker," because his bumper sticker was the Foxhound logo from Metal Gear. So I'm like,
Oh.
"Wait a second.
Whoa.
Did we just become best friends?"
So are you gonna see this guy more often, you think? Or do you know who to look for?
I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe ask for a number. Hey, what's your gamer tag? No, that is cool though. That is a good crossover, actually.
Yeah,
That's a good crossover
because
to
I
see.
mean, how many people are really into Metal Gear and Gundam, and then
Yeah,
meet each other out in the wild like gazelles?
I know, especially because one big thing is, in my opinion, I feel like Metal Gear, Metal Gear fans grew up, or Metal Gear itself was growing up with the fans. I don't think I don't think it's captured a younger fan base at all. Like,
I think you're
you know what I
1,000%
mean?
right about that.
And I think it's because it's very much an 80s, 90s movie as a game. And,
Yeah.
I think which is fine. And I think it's one of those things too. Well, then it will get a resurgence when people are interested in that time period and the things Kojima was saying. That's um but speaking of games, I wanted to show you guys something. So Apex Legends announced this Gundam crossover where there's a whole bunch of skins. Apex Legends being an Electronic Arts game made by Respawn, R.I.P. Vincent Pella. You know, you heard about that, right?
I did, yeah.
Yeah, kind of crazy, but he's left a mark. Like not only Call of Duty, Apex Legends, Star Wars. Like think of the range of games he's made. Anyway, back to Apex Legends. I've played it before. It's cool. Um I guess it's hard for me to really just spend time with a live service game. Again, it could be my age, but when I was looking up stats, there's like 100,000 concurrent players in Apex Legends, and
Not
that's
bad.
big. So,
Yeah.
so what would make sense then, I guess, for if Bandai is going to put skins in a game, Apex Legends seems like a practical one. But as a Gundam fan, and this is what's interesting, it's like I'm not going to just download the game to buy the skins and then play for 30 minutes.
And can we confirm the skins are what? It's like $5 a piece, $4 a piece?
It's got to be, because I don't know what 2,150 credits are, but you know how these companies scam us.
Somebody in my Discord was like, "Oh yeah, no, it costs like $80 to get all 8 skins."
Wait.
Something like it was absurd. I was like,
Let me look it up. To get all Apex Legends Gundam skins. Let's see. Does it say anywhere here? No. Okay, it's got to be. Okay, 100. Wait. What? One heirloom will cost around 200 to 250 USD. I don't know. Look, it's some currency from some other universe.
"Wait, yeah." So I just pulled up my Discord server. It's like, "Wait a second.
Oh,
So, and shout out to Ultronymous in the chat.
thank you, Ultronymous.
In motion, they don't seem as jank. They are kind of rough. Somebody says for the low price of $170.
Wow.
And yeah, for Ultronymous said for all of them, $20 a piece.
Wow. Okay, because I was.
Lab was $70, so it tracks.
Oh, right. That's right. Overwatch. I totally forgot.
So
That
yeah,
was
I mean they've done Overwatch crossovers. They've
Mhm.
done the Call of Duty one. They did
Fortnite,
Fortnite. Yeah,
Call of Duty Mobile.
yeah, Call of Duty Mobile. That's the one I was thinking of. The one that was in space.
Yeah, which was pretty
But
cool. I
yeah,
played
so
it for a
this
little
was
bit.
$170, bro.
Yeah.
For if you wanted to get all of them, I doubt anybody wants to get all 8 skins, right?
I mean, that's what I don't understand. And maybe this is the psychology of, I feel like the people that would spend the money, either you're a really hardcore Gundam fan that just does that, or you're a really hardcore Apex Legends fan. But I got to say, I think I was talking to you about this yesterday when I was just looking up researching discussion around that Crimson Desert game. I'm really excited about it. People were just worried to drop 70. They're like, I have to choose between that and Resident Evil. I'd rather buy Resident Evil. So it's like, I don't really know how successful this is.
And honestly, a lot of that is, we've seen it in the last 20 years when it comes to like Marvel movies, where it's like, if you as a viewer are going to go to the theater, you're going to spend $25 on a ticket, who knows how much on concessions to go watch a movie. Are you going to take the thing that you're going to enjoy, one of the Marvel movies that's like part of the franchise that you're already watching, or are you going to watch this new IP, this new film that just came out that's like an action flick? Most people are going to go with the low-hanging fruit. They're going to go with the thing that they're familiar with.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, of course people are going to go for Resident Evil over, this storied franchise over something that just came out. Um I don't think that that's fair necessarily, but that's just kind of the way that the market is right now. And
Yeah. Because,
I don't
it's
know.
funny. When I was a kid, I would be lucky to get a game. And then as I got older, it seemed like it was easier to get games more often, just because how the market was. And then even when I moved out to be on my own, I never like had to struggle, and I was able to play and when I say didn't have to struggle, I went through the single guy living on your own,
Yeah.
irresponsible money spending, but I would still buy the games I wanted all the time, and it seemed to balance out. But even now, like as with like okay, and I think I talked about this on Blue Gamer. Sometimes it's like, okay, a game just dropped for $70, but I just found a good deal on 3 different games, and it would cost me less than 70, and I tend to do that more. And yeah,
And you know
it's
what's interesting is I actually saw this excellent tweet the other day that somebody was like, "Man, when I was a kid, I imagined that a 100-inch TV, 100-inch plasma flat screen TV would be like $200,000. And now I can get one for 1,000
wow.
bucks at Walmart." And it's like, that is the perfect representation of the way prices are supposed to go. Is
Yeah.
like, as time goes on, things should become cheaper to produce, not more expensive. So what we're living through right now, it's like you think about like, and not to get like too broad, but like healthcare, cars, video games, like everything is more expensive. It's like TVs are actually pretty cheap, which is kind of weird.
No, dude, you're right. I
So it's
think
like
it's
TVs are what the market should be doing, which is,
yeah.
as things become more efficient to produce, you can produce more of them and therefore the cost goes down. If you think about like the way that video games have gone, it's like wildly in the opposite direction, because not only are people downloading games more than they're buying them, so it's like you don't even have to make the physical copies of the game and then distribute them across your international distribution networks, but like
They still got
the
more
games
expensive
yeah, the
when it's
games are
like
more expensive and you get less content and you have to download more
'cause that's like
DLC.
an entire infrastructure from shipping games you wouldn't have to worry about anymore, yet they stayed the same or got more expensive. And consoles too, consoles, this is the first last generation, or no, this current generation was the first where they were raising the prices. The PS5 and the
Right.
Series X and the Switch 2, the Switch 2 price is gonna go up soon, and it's because I guess they found out that a certain thing that you can develop as part of these, what do you call these things, computers, is
The
the RAM.
ecosystem.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
and so now it's like, well, oh, if we have a bunch of RAM, we can do this or that. So I think what's going on is the RAM's being hoarded for AI infrastructure, but we're gonna find a solve for that, and then RAM is probably gonna end up going back to being cheap, for personal use and stuff.
Or, and this is, again, you and I, you and I have like different perspectives on things. And it's like, that's the optimistic perspective. I
Yeah.
feel like I would love for RAM, for personal compute, to be less expensive for people. I think what's going to probably be forced on us is renting compute. Is you're
Yeah.
going to be able to rent server space at a data center and use that as your streaming. And
And
and honestly, it makes sense why someone like Sam Altman would be hoarding all of these chips so that he can rent them out to you. And it's like, oh, do you want to run your own LLM? Well, you can do it on my cloud server. Like, give me
it's
20
one of
bucks
those.
a month.
Yes, and it's not one, and it's like where you were saying forced, and it's like you don't realize you're being forced. It's almost like, oh, this
Yeah.
is convenient and inexpensive. I guess I'll do it this way, and then you realize you're tied to it. I would even say that's a really good way to think of mobile phones. There's a lot of good about mobile phones, but I think in general there's more bad. Yeah, the
Yeah.
dogs are going nuts. And so I it's like, oh man, now we got to the point where like anyone could have a mobile phone, and that's just kind of, oh, it's dump. What? Yeah, it's wow, it's crazy how we went down this rabbit hole when I was bringing up Apex Legends. This is good stuff. How did we do that? It's magic,
Every
Steven.
time.
But let's get back to Apex Legends real quick, because
Yes.
the thing with this is I'm curious what you think, and in chat, what you guys think about this lineup. Because to be honest, there's only one fatal flaw. Otherwise, I would think this is an amazing lineup.
Okay,
What
I've got to hear you. You can't like leave us on a cliffhanger of saying like there's one fatal flaw. Come
what do you
on,
think
spill the
the
goods.
fatal flaw would be?
Y-
If you
Are
were
you
to,
asking me what I think the
well,
fatal flaw is, or what I think you think the fatal flaw is?
I want yeah, both. What do you think is the fatal flaw of this? I think there's an obvious thing, but then it could just speak to who I am as a Gundam fan.
Interesting. Okay. Personally, if I were to identify the one skin that's out of place, and this isn't my least favorite skin by the way, this is just the one that I think is like, why was that included? Is going to be the Death Scythe.
Man, okay, that's not what I was gonna say, but it leads into it.
Oh, oh, okay, go
Because
for
I
it.
was gonna say there's one they're missing,
Oh,
and if we had to choose one to remove, it is the Death Scythe. I agree. Even though that's cool. It's
it's
just
yeah, it's awesome.
you got the third. It's like, why the Death Scythe? It's probably because it's death,
Yeah,
that's cool. I would replace the Death Scythe with the RX-78 too. God, what the what? Right? Like I'm
yeah.
looking at this, I'm like, oh, cool, the RX-78 too. It's what? No.
It makes
So,
no sense.
well,
Why
let me.
why do you have 3 Gundam Wing units, and one
Yeah.
of them is just kind of like a side character? It's not even like a main. Like,
What-
Ariel makes
what-
sense.
Yes.
Seed makes sense. Like,
Mhm.
both of the Seed units make sense, right? Like, Destiny and Strike, like
Yeah. And G-Quux, I think just because that was recent, hey, I'll give you a bone, sure.
now that
Um,
one is the ugliest of them.
it is.
Like,
And
it's
then the Kasai, which I think it makes sense. That's cool. I never thought they would even attempt that. But
it's a
but
little, I
half the
mean,
way.
all of them basically look like they've been stretched, vertically, like, scaled non-proportionally.
Yeah. Yeah. It is amazing. I wish they had the balls to just do the Penelope. But anyway, so I would replace, yeah, for sure, the Gundam Death Scythe Hill with the RX-78 too. I think that
It's an obvious one.
but why do you think they didn't put the RX-78? I would almost think by default you do that. Who in the room? Well, it's probably a Teams call where they like, okay, guys, RX-78 too. No,
Hold on, let me put my pants back on. Um,
that's good.
yeah, it's I'm sure that they had some internal focus groups that they were like, which are the most recognizable to you.
But
And
what
if
does
they
that
have if
mean?
they have a room full of millennials, I guarantee you, yeah, oh yeah, that's the well, and that's the craziest thing is it's like they went with the Wing Zero and the Death Scythe from Endless Waltz, but the Epion isn't even in Endless Waltz. So it's like you went with the Epion from the TV show, and then, like, again, Ariel makes sense, get it. G-Quux makes sense. Seed, all
Yep.
both of those units make sense. And then, of course, you have to throw Hathaway a bone just because that's the current anime
Right.
that's going on right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like I almost wouldn't include Wing at all. The Wing 30th anniversary was last year. You
last year.
missed the boat. Do something
Exactly.
different this year. You get rid of Epion, Wing Zero, and Death Scythe, and you put in the
Zeta.
RX-78, the Zeta, and the Sharzaku. Boom.
Okay.
Fixed it.
Yeah, sure, Zaki. So I really curious what you think, and everyone out there. Is it? Are we at a point now where the RX-78 2 is just now like it lost even Sharzaku too? Did that? Is that just? I wonder how much, and this might say a lot, how much it has to do with the audience that plays Apex Legends. What if we don't realize that there's a huge non-Gundam crossover and it maybe skews a certain age?
It's possible.
But in the age, it's not relative to what they would know, but more of what visuals they would jive with, while also well, because then it wouldn't matter. You might as well have the Toads Ritter in here at that point. So I don't know. I mean, there's not really any reason to critique this. If the RX-78 2 was there, I wouldn't even be spending too much time on this. But I just find it fascinating that the RX-78 2 isn't there.
Yeah, and these types of crossovers, like I just find myself wondering like what has been the results because like, you know, you guys know I work in marketing and like everything I do gets tracked. My boss is on my ass about everything that I do. Hey, how many customers did this bring in? What was the average spend that that customer did? You know, did they come back and buy a second time? Like I have to answer to those metrics. And so every time I see a Gundam marketing ploy like this, like let's do a collaboration with this, let's do a Gundam Assemble plus card game thing, I'm like, man, I would really hate to have to sit in that boardroom and answer to the numbers on this. Like, how much money did we make off of this Apex? Uh,
Yeah, I
not a lot.
yeah, so it's almost like it was a marketing budget just for the sake of getting exposure, which that's the thing. It's one of these things where it's like you either go all the way or you don't. What are you trying to do? Or and I don't know how much it's a matter of where we have this that we can spend. And we're just gonna put it into this. And so
Yeah, it's a
um
tax write-off.
I just dude, it's just I can't wait for and everyone knows this and and here's the thing, I keep saying it, but people keep posting it too in my comments. We're waiting for that awesome Gundam game to come out. Just recently, someone in the comments was saying like, what was it? Yeah, they were just talking about when Gundam Breaker 4 being the last game, forgetting about that seed game, which I get it. It was only on PC and Switch, and it didn't even get a Switch 2 port or upgrade. That's isn't that still weird? It's been a year, not a year since it came out, but a year since that they announced that Seed remaster
Yeah.
that came out, and it's on. It doesn't have a Switch 2 upgrade port or upgrade. That doesn't make sense to me, and it's not
Well,
on
and
any
again,
other console.
that was a remaster of an older game, so we're not
Yeah,
even talking about something that's, like, truly next gen.
yeah,
Um,
it's really weird.
yeah.
So while this is all happening, we also have that restructuring that's happening under Bandai, and it's interesting that both of these are happening at the same time. So, Nintendo bought the Bandai, oh, which Singapore? Bandai Namco Singapore development
That
studio?
sounds fam that
Yeah.
sounds familiar, yeah.
Nintendo was outsourcing, but they've bought them internally. And now all Gundam works. We were talking about this yesterday on your show. Anything Gundam is now under that Bandai Filmworks. It's not like,
It's not
or
Sunrise,
yeah,
and it's
and
not
it's
Sotsu.
and it's and the idea is it's not different segments are going to be doing different things. It's like Gundam is just going to be all under one, which is interesting because, for instance, like that Gundam VR game that came out, that was also a different team,
Yeah.
completely under Bandai, that were like, well, let's just do a Gundam VR game. So,
And did you
think,
happen to catch the rebrand of Bandai
oh,
Spirits to Bandai Hobby?
okay. So I didn't even realize because there was already a Bandai Hobby,
Yeah.
but they consolidated in the Bandai Spirits and changed the logo.
Yeah, so it's, like, it's geared more towards, like, everything, not just Gunpla, but like tabletop gaming. And yeah, they
Mm.
made a big announcement about it on Instagram, I want to say. But yeah, they
So consolidation. So, a lot of this makes me think we are not going to see any interesting Gundam games for a long time, other than things that they know make money. And I bet, with they will probably get a Gundam Breaker 5 before anything else. Or I wouldn't doubt if we got a Dynasty Warriors Gundam before anyone thinks. Couple reasons why. We got that new Dynasty Warriors Origins that uses a new engine. That came out January of last year.
yeah,
They have now remastered Dynasty Warriors 3, which is coming out this year. If they're already doing that with the Dynasty Warrior engines, there is potential
there's hope.
there for them to do a Gundam thing. And I think they would I don't think they would remake a Dynasty Warriors Gundam. I think they would make a whole new one. And I think, because there's so much more they could do, especially if you play the new Dynasty Warriors Origins, like all the improvements to that engine, or it's probably a new engine actually. There might even be an Unreal, but
Yeah,
it's so I really do think that a Gundam Dynasty Warriors would come sooner than we think.
because the last Gundam Dynasty Warriors Reborn did not include Witch from Mercury, IBO, G-Quux. Like, you're talking about mountains of content that you could put into a new Dynasty Warriors Gundam.
And what year was that it came out?
Man, that had to be like 2012, 2013 at the
Okay.
latest, I feel like.
Yeah, because
Correct
I
me if I'm
remember
wrong,
that was
I'm
one.
sure chat knows.
Oh, yeah, exactly, Autonomous. But, that was one that I
Wow,
remember.
singled them out.
I know.
No.
But when we were first talking and all that, and you were, like, giving me the rundown on, like, getting a PS3, the games that you can, and I think, like, because you can get it digitally on the PS3 and
Yeah,
all that, which is awesome. And I have my PS3 hooked up to my, living room.
same
Um,
here.
you know what? Okay, that's cool. How many like, you can't go in public and just find that out. Should I wear a shirt that says, "I have a PS3 plugged into my living room TV," and then people like, "You still do." Whoa. Okay.
Like, no, Netflix is no longer installed because they
Oh, dude. That would be the conversation then.
yeah.
Um, okay, I
So how
think I
many Netflix movies did you put on VHS? Like
oh, that's yeah. Oh, and yeah, I actually have that. It's like a HDMI converter box I use so I can get my signal on my
yeah,
computer. Yeah.
to RCA or whatever, or
Yeah.
VCA.
But it is funny though. I feel like there's something about having a shirt that signifies something very personal and nerdy, and to see if other people. Yeah, I remember when I was younger and I would wear Evil Dead shirts because I didn't know many people that liked Evil Dead, and then I'd meet people that are like, "Oh, Evil Dead." I'm like, "Oh, yeah." And then now, like, it's on the major YouTube uh, channels. So, are you about to say something? Because I'm about to change the subject.
No, no.
Okay. Because I was thinking of Evil Dead, and then I got sad. Because did you guys hear the sad news about Bruce
Yeah.
Campbell? Yeah. Bruce Campbell apparently has some sort of cancer, but he says it is treatable. And so, but it's to the point to where he had to cancel some shows. So, oh man, you always hear about cancer, and it's
This year has been a very rough year as far as, celebrity deaths. I mean, you're talking about the composer who did the Zeta Gundam, um,
oh, that's right.
title
The
tracks,
title, yeah.
Catherine O'Hara of Home
Oh yeah,
Alone fame, Eric
Beetlejuice.
Dane, who played my personal favorite superhero, Multiple Man. Eric Dane had
Oh,
ALS. If you haven't
oh,
watched his Netflix special, his, like, famous last words, he actually recorded a message to his daughters,
wow.
which was really touching. Yeah, this year, and it's only March. It's only
Yeah.
March, and we've lost, like, 13 celebrities. It's like, oh, man. And typically, like, I don't know, do you get choked up about celebrities in general, or is it like, I mean, obviously, like, Bruce Campbell is one that you and I both, like,
Yeah.
when I read If Chins Could Kill, like,
Oh,
man, this guy's my guy.
I know. It's weird, like, for Bruce Campbell, his age, pass if he were to pass with cancer, it would be sad, but it's almost like, wow, what an impact. You know, it's sometimes it's the things that kind of sneak up on you. Like I don't know if I told you this. Did I tell you about the guy that was my vocal teacher?
No.
Okay. So before the channel, when I was recording music, I was taking singing lessons because I don't really know how to sing. So I have to like get someone to help me get into tune. And then there's this guy, I think I found him on Craigslist or an ad somewhere, and he'd come over, help me. He was into similar music as me. It was really cool. And then 2 years ago, about 2 years ago, like over Christmas, I was messaging him to see, hey, if you want to hang out, do some music. And we were talking back and forth. He was saying he was having a hard time.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh, maybe we can, talk soon. And then like Christmas passed, didn't hear from him. And then in January, I texted him again, like I think it was like January 20th or something. I still didn't hear from him. And I'm like, okay, time had passed. And then just like last year sometime, I'm on Instagram and I see a profile picture that was like his face, but then it had like graphical, like a heart stuff around it that almost looks like when people make the pictures in memory of. And I'm like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So I click on it, and it's some lady that could be his mom, but had that picture. I was like, what? So I
Mhm.
did research of his name and I found an obituary, and he had died just a few days after I had texted him, but
Wow.
I don't know how he did. I just know that I recognized some struggles in him that I remember I went through, and I wonder if it just got the best of him. Um, and then I was reading one of the people leave notes and they're like, "Hey man, I know the truth of how, you were being treated," or something like that. And I'm like, "Oh man, like what could have happened?" And oh man, this is a sad story, but I guess I'm going to tell it. So then I know his YouTube channel. It's small, but so I went to his YouTube channel just to listen to the last few, music videos he made. And I see a comment from his son, and it had like a Roblox icon for the picture and said, RIP, Daddy, I miss you. And I was like, oh, and like, oh man. And that really choked me up like that because that was sudden. That was I didn't have a deep connection with him, but we did musically and he taught me. So there's that, you know, so that is one. And here's something interesting. When I was this new job I have, like it's great. And at first, super not stressful, but overwhelming and busy. And sometimes I'm like, man, it's tough. And then I would just think of James, and that's his name. His name is James. And I would just be like, like I shouldn't let anything bother me because you know what? That whole situation, it makes me sad. And that's nothing compared to, you know, like my work, big deal. And that
Yeah.
kind of helped me get through work. Just it's
A little bit
interesting.
of perspective.
Yeah. Yeah. Just of who he was, how I identified with him, just seeing his son's post on his YouTube video and just like all that stuff. It's like there are things that are bigger, and hey, I'm tough enough to work through work stuff because it's harder to deal with your passing of people you care about. So
Yeah.
yeah.
100%, man. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's like
Yeah,
it's
it's one of those again, it's not like I was super close, but it was just enough, and there was that connection. So um yeah, and yeah, yeah, I don't know. So anyway, I don't know how you move on from something like that when it comes to doing a podcast. But RIP to James, and he's taught me a lot, and I think about him all the time, especially when I'm doing my music and stuff. So he left a lasting impression.
yeah, and a lot of that is, it's kinda like why we do what we do in a way because, we really don't know the what's gonna happen to us in the future. Like, we can control how we react to stimuli and, like, again, like, I don't know James, and I don't know the struggles that he was dealing with, but
Mm,
eventually, time comes knocking for us all, whether it's something that is within our control or whether it's without our control. So it's like, we don't know when that's going to happen. Like in the case with Eric Dane, like obviously he didn't think that he was going to get ALS and,
yeah.
die before he was like 60. Um,
Yeah.
and so immortalizing the type of person that you are, and especially if you are blessed enough to immortalize your craft and your art in a way that James was, where
Yeah.
it's like, you know, he has music out there for his son to listen to. Eric Dane has movies that he's acted in that allow his daughters to experience who he was beyond his passing. Like that's kind of why we, well, I mean, I don't want to say it's a why we do what we do, but it's a part of
It
the expression and the ability to do what we do is like I yeah, I hope that one day my daughters will watch this show and say like, "Man, my dad was such a geek talking to this guy about like video game skins." Like
No, you're right, because there are times where I'm like, for a split second, like, okay, where does this go into the void? It's like, no, this is until a nuclear apocalypse. This is something that people can access, in the future. And my kids, and so that makes me to think, as I am doing this video content, video work, what are some things I can pass along that are, good advice, tell these interesting stories. And it's even not just my kids, but it's like anyone, because the more I'm on, and actually I should say the less, like at Twitter for gaming, that's the influential people post there, but they're also actively conversing with the people that have no really meaningful intent to have a conversation in gaming, and it creates this weird bubble of perspective of the game industry, and I hate it. And so every once in a while I'll post something on X, and sometimes it's like, can I say it in a way where I am providing some sort of knowledge? Maybe if that person I'm replying to doesn't get it, but someone that had that mindset is scrolling, and then they're like, oh, maybe there is another way to think about it. So I think there is a responsibility to us, putting ourselves up there, in contrast to where sometimes you and I will look at these other influencers that, you know, look like on the surface, it seems like, wow, they have abundance. And then, but then sometimes we're seeing decisions we wouldn't want to make. It's like, well, that's
right.
not really true to me, but not that. And it's not that, oh, I'm self-righteous. It's more of, there's this, uh, I don't know what you call it. It's like being a goody goody, or I don't know what the term is, where sometimes it's like you feel like, well, as much as I would want to do that, I I don't feel, like when you're seeing the trolling or the toxic sort of videos where it's doubling down
Sure.
on stuff.
Yeah, well, and you know, I think that you and I both agree that like when you're in a room and you have a question, one of the most important things you can do is ask that question because chances are, and every teacher is going to tell you this, ask questions, please, because if
Yeah.
you have the question, chances are someone else does too. And so, in a lot of ways, even though it is beneath you to argue with people on the internet about anything, if you feel a calling to voice an opinion that you think is not being represented in a particular discourse, you know, god, the online discourse, like you said, sometimes you're not trying to convince the people that are actually talking. Your responsibility there in putting that opinion out there is to let people know that they're not alone. Because I guarantee you,
Hmm, that's a good way to
of
put
of the thousands of people that look at a single person's tweet, there's gonna be, 30% absolutely agree with it, 100% double down. 30% of people are gonna, "Ah, this person's an idiot. They don't know what they're talking about." But then there's a huge 40% swath left over that probably have a much more nuanced opinion. And so it's almost your responsibility to put that one out there because those are the people that are going to be like, yeah, you know what? He's right. Like, we shouldn't be fighting over this. Or like, this
Yeah,
person overlooked this detail that they just conveniently left out.
yeah.
So, yeah, 100%.
I
That's,
like the way you put that about, like, it's almost like you are speaking for others. And I feel like in life, sometimes it happens if I'm in a group setting. There are some times where I feel like maybe people were waiting on me to speak up or say something.
yeah,
And I'm just feeling like, well, I don't want to speak on everyone's behalf, but I think that is a a growing method you have to like learn in life is, and I'm dealing with this at work, like boundaries. Like, when can I overstep because I do want to help and I can actually not come off as some overbearing jerk? Like, who does this guy think he is? You know, it's, and then it
There
makes you think, oh, did I get that in the past? And it's like, yeah, maybe, but I
yeah,
wasn't intending to be that way. I've just over
right.
time get in the habit of people calling me out, even though I'm just uh, excited to help or whatever.
No, I mean, there is a there has been psychological studies about groups of people that will actively act in their own, like, not like, they will act against their self-interest because they think that everyone else in the group feels the same way. They won't say that they object to a certain course of action because they think that everyone else is gonna say no. And it's like, there's the phenomenon about, like, oh, if somebody was being mugged in an alley and
Oh
there's
yeah,
an apartment building where everyone's listening and everyone says, "Well, I'm not gonna call the cops, somebody else is gonna call the cops." And that's what everyone else is thinking, and so nobody calls the
yeah,
cops.
yeah,
So if you're in a boardroom, if you're on Twitter, wherever you are, if you have that that itch, that, like, "Wait a second, something's not quite right here," chances are more than one person feels that, and nobody is like, nobody has the courage to say it because they think that nobody else feels that way. And that is the worst place to be because all it takes is the Norman Rockwell painting. Someone has to stand up and say, "I don't agree with this." And then they'll be like, "Oh yeah, no, he's right." Like,
yeah. I think it's a way to you could. It's potentially a way that you can help find yourself if you're in one of those
yeah,
situations. It's like maybe this is the moment where I have to. And you know what I want? This might sound cheesy, but I remember in that 2017 Power Ranger movie,
yeah,
and the main story for the Red Ranger was for him to, you have to be a leader, actually. Like, you're the one that should be. Like, it doesn't mean anyone is worse. It's like someone might just be better at motivating a group of people. So it's like, really, you should be the leader. And I've always thought about that because it's like in situations like, hey, someone else. But no, sometimes, and if you're used to that, if you're used to hearing that call, then that's going to help you in life in any situation.
yeah.
So, wow,
Isn't
what a
that what
great,
Gundam is about? Like
that's
with
what
Amuro?
that is exactly it. A call
Like,
to action when it's something you gotta take care of. Yeah,
and
exactly, dude.
sometimes you need someone to slap it into you, you know, bright.
Exactly. So that's,
Honestly,
hey,
yeah.
if someone's gotta make it, if you know you're in a situation where you're not the leader, slap the person that's supposed to be. And then I think we've seen it work. Anyway. Oh, that was a very fun time. Yeah, this was a fun chat. I'm glad we got to do all this. Yeah, just thinking back, many different topics. I mean, nothing. This is
I'm
more of
glad
a,
to close out the show with something that is touching, and hopefully you
yes,
guys got some value out of it because this was a very personal episode for
yeah,
sure.
yeah. This really did work out. So thank you. I really appreciate it when you're here, Steven. That was a lot of fun. And again, if you missed yesterday's stream, you have to watch it. Gundam Assemble. It is all the information you need is there. And did you pre-order? Let us know in the comments of his video if you're going to pre-order. So, all right. Anything else, Steven? Or are we good?
No, you guys have a great weekend. Thank you all so much.
Yep. See y'all later.